Why do people stay in relationships where they don't even like each other? Why does a person stay at a job they despise, doing work that drains their soul every single day? Why do we settle for a life that is merely okay when we dream of a life that is extraordinary? The answer is simple. It's one word: comfort. It is comfortable. They are used to it. There is no risk. They know how to do it. Going after the bigger job might be scary. Leaving the bad relationship means facing the unknown. But here's the harsh truth. You can be incredibly comfortable while getting inferior results. You can be totally comfortable living a life you secretly hate. And this desire for safety is the single greatest threat to your potential. In this video, we're going to break down the 3 enemies of success, understand the mechanics of why we get stuck, and finally, learn how to upgrade who we are as human beings one step at a time. If we look at what holds people back, we can identify 3 distinct enemies of success. The first enemy is the comfort zone itself. This is where 80% of the population lives. It is the realm of the familiar. It is where people become comfortable doing what they are doing, and they develop a tremendous resistance to change. Even when a change is positive, like getting fit, starting a business, or learning a new skill, the brain finds reasons not to do it. The comfort zone is a gravitational force that pulls you back to the couch, back to the phone, and back to the path of least resistance. The second enemy is learned helplessness. This is the psychological state where people feel, I can't do it. It is the voice in your head that creates a victim narrative. I cannot make a change because of the economy. I can't do it because of my boss. I can't succeed because of my childhood. Learned helplessness is an addiction to excuses. It is the belief that you have no control over your destiny, so you shouldn't even bother trying. The third enemy is the path of least resistance. This is the human instinct to always look for the easy way to achieve a result. We want the 6-pack abs without the diet. We want the millionaire bank account without the years of grinding. But the reality is that nothing worthwhile can be achieved easily. Everything of value requires a long period of hard work, usually accompanied by many failures along the way. To understand how to defeat these enemies, we have to understand how the brain categorizes the world. Everything you are physically capable of doing falls into one of 2 categories: inside the comfort zone or outside the comfort zone. The things inside the zone are easy. They take little to no effort, and there is no mental resistance. Take driving, for example. For most adults, driving is completely inside the comfort zone. You drive to work, you drive to the store, you drive home. You don't have to give yourself a pep talk to turn the ignition key. Your brain has subconsciously placed it in the safe box. Now, compare that to going for a run. A lot harder, isn't it? It is physically strenuous, it requires preparation, you lose your breath, and if you haven't run in a while, you will be sore tomorrow. Because your brain knows this requires energy and risk, it places running outside the comfort zone. But here is where things get interesting. Driving is easy, but it doesn't improve you. After a week of driving, you feel nothing. It's just driving. Running, however, is hard. But after a week of running every day, your mental energy increases, your optimism grows, and your physical health improves. This reveals a fundamental flaw in our operating system. The comfort zone is a terrible compass. It cannot tell you what is good for you or bad for you. It only cares about what is safe and easy. Stabbing yourself in the leg with a pencil is outside your comfort zone, but it's bad for you. Eating a bag of chips on the couch is inside your comfort zone, but it's also bad for you. You cannot trust your feelings of comfort to guide your life choices. There's a weird phenomenon I've noticed throughout my life. The comfort zone isn't static, it is dynamic. If you don't do anything to maintain it, it doesn't just stay the same, it shrinks. Unless you venture at least a little bit beyond the borders of your comfort zone, the walls start closing in. I remember when a new video game came out a few years ago. I spent days just playing it for hours, eating junk food and drinking soda. I was living purely in the path of least resistance. After just a few days of this, of not doing anything difficult, my comfort zone shrank. Things that used to be easy for me, like going to the gym or even just socializing with friends, suddenly felt like climbing Mount Everest. You may have experienced this on a vacation where you do nothing for a week. You become soft, you become a blob. The less you do, the less you can do. This is the atrophy of human potential. When you stay in a job you hate because it's safe, your skills atrophy. When you avoid difficult conversations in a relationship, your emotional resilience atrophies. By avoiding the short-term discomfort of risk, you guarantee the long-term suffering of mediocrity. So what is the solution? You will never feel ready to do things that scare you. You will never feel ready to start that business. You will never feel ready to have that difficult conversation. Why? Because it is outside your zone. Naturally, you should feel discomfort. That isn't a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are in the right place. If you want a different life, at some point you have to jump off the cliff into the unknown. I discovered this during my freshman year of university. I was in a new city with new people, and I felt a desperate need to reinvent myself. I treated it like a game. I forced myself into social situations that made me sweat. I spoke to strangers. I joined clubs I knew nothing about. And I noticed a one-to-one relationship. The more I subjected myself to discomfort, the happier I became. I felt incredible. I was energetic, I was optimistic, and I woke up ready to tackle the day. I was peeling back a layer of reality and upgrading my character. This is the growth zone. It sits right outside your comfort zone. It is where you struggle, yes. It is where you might fail, yes. But it is also where you feel most alive. You can choose to succumb to the three enemies. You can let learned helplessness convince you that you are a victim. You can take the path of least resistance and watch your world shrink day by day until you are trapped in a prison of your own making. Or you can choose the alternative. You can choose to jump into the unknown. You can choose to accept that fear is the price of admission for a great life. I would rather jump into the unknown to create the life of my dreams than sit around and accept a life that is just mediocre until the day I die. Start today. Pick one thing that scares you. Pick one thing that is difficult. Do it. Then do it again tomorrow.